Hey, good morning, traders. This is Wednesday, September the 11th, 2024. This is real quick, my morning brief video. Please remember to retweet my video on Twitter if you get a chance. Uh, look for add any comments in the description below, stuff you're seeing that I'm not seeing, or anything like that stuff, and like the video if you get a chance. So basically, some things I'm looking at right here, guys. So we did manage to close above this week's anchored VWAP yesterday here on SPY. It took us right up into the very last line in the sand here for uh, a Elliott wave. Basically, Elliott wave, you never want to go back into wave one, the bottom of wave one for a 5 wave count. And they took us right to that, ticked right into that yesterday. I had mentioned last night, right into the close that, it's probably not a bad idea to have some shorts going into the overnight session. Initially here, we are seeing some redness, but the CPI is not out. It comes out this morning. CPI is this morning at 8:30, and then you have PPI tomorrow at 8:30. Okay, and so that's pretty much what's going on. But it took us to the tick yesterday, right into that end, into the bottom of wave one, and we are finding some resistance there this morning here on SPY. Some things to think about on our gamma situation here. The 550 area is a very critical area here in today's into this week's trading. 550. Um, so, very important there. We got a lot of open interest down here on the Friday expiration here at 550. So we know 550 is a very critical area for this week. So be very mindful of that. As far as today goes, we got a lot of open interest here at the 550 here, even possibly today. Almost 9,500, 9,400 contracts, okay, at 550, okay. So just be very mindful that is our critical upside target, the 550 area. Now, if we were to get some sell side reaction to the CPI, you know, uh, it's starting. You actually start getting uh, you start getting a bubble here around the below 545. It starts the volumes start picking up, and you notice how the volumes are kind of in they're elevated, but they're not uh, extreme. Okay, so there's a lot of volume hedging going on around the 545 and less here in today's action. So some things I'm looking at right here. So this orange line right here, that represents this week's anchored VWAP. Uh, and we just looked above it with technically what I would consider a hanging man situation. So if we were to open after CPI above or below 548.32, this could be a confirmed hanging man situation. They got everybody bullish before the CPI and they take us right back down. So I do want to point that out, that we're just looking above that anchored VWAP. So there is that potential, given the candle, that we have a hanging man situation for the bulls right into that wave one. So this could be a completed wave four for a continuation for the wave five, finishing to the downside. So that is one scenario that I'm looking at here. Okay, we're also 550 is a call wall. That's 551 is actually the expected move for the week. So heads up, we're getting awful close to that. They try to migrate price into those expected moves whenever they can. We're getting awfully close to that. So there's a lot of little things, that nuances are happening here in SPY that we have to definitely keep an eye on. It's going to be really important how that CPI plays out here. Uh, so let's be very mindful of that. Personally, what my feelings are on CPI tonight is I'm going to put gold up real quick. Uh, First of all, used cars prices are coming down. They're plummeting. Okay. So I have that going on. We have gasoline prices plummeting across the nation. Okay. I believe housing prices are coming down. That we're going to see a print. The housing prices are coming down for this past month as well. So that's three of the big boys that will go into CPI. that, in my opinion, art prices are coming down. So I think it's going to be a weaker print. That to me suggests this gold trade is in a very precarious situation. Okay, so if you go out on a 10-year, uh, it's 5 year, that's 5 year, I'm going to go 10 year. If you go out 10 years here on your gold and you put a gain fan on this, okay, uh, this is a critical breaking trend line of the primary trend, okay, on your gain fan typically. You see how we're just going right up in here into a potential and a very, very steep apex. We've done a 50% breakout using your long-term analysis. Okay, so we're into a major inflection point, in my opinion, on a very long time frame here, potentially here on gold. Now, if you come back down here, we're right into that 50% retracement. Okay, we had a we had right here a hanging man that failed. Okay, they managed to bring it right back up into another hanging man. Okay, so be mindful of that right into this trend line. Okay, so I think this is very precarious that we're coming back down and testing the bottom of this trend line today in today's session. So be very mindful with the CPI coming out. As I'm personally thinking gold's coming down today. So we'll see what happens, how that plays out. Another thing that bothers me, guys, we came out of a period of strong sell side action at just slightly lower prices. And we pushed, but we couldn't push. We haven't pushed very far. We just basically looked above where we had the selling pressure, and we just couldn't get any type of momentum going after we got above that. Yeah, if you can see what I'm talking about here. So see all these red bars right here? Okay, we got to the top of this level down here. Okay, and we kept seeing all kinds of selling pressure. Okay, we pushed up, going, and but we're just not making much headway on this gold trade. And now all of a sudden the volumes come down and we're not getting that selling pressure in this higher distribution. A lot of times that is a big warning to me. Seeing that this should have been a major breakout. This thing should have had some oomph to it, and we're just not getting that. So just be very mindful of that situation. What should happen, and when it doesn't happen, that worries me. That this is a contrarian idea for the gold idea. Okay, in my opinion, just something to think about. I'd be very hesitant to try this gold long trade given the CPI and PPI this week. And one last thing here on SPY. You see this rally we've had the past couple days here on SPY. It has been on a low average volume. Okay, so be very mindful of that. Yes, you've had a short squeeze. This is typically what you would see in a wave 4. Okay, below average volume, short squeeze for a wave 4. Then we come back down for a wave 5. So be very mindful of that situation. Now, I got this study up. Let me put my keys up. Similar situation, below average volume, similar wave 4 structure. Okay, and this is another one here. So this is our wave 1, bottom of this candle right here. Okay, we came up to it and basically to the tick. Okay, and initially we're finding some rejection this morning here on a wave 4, right where you would expect the end of a wave 4, the last place, and that's where we're finding a little bit of resistance early on this morning. We are above this week's anchored VWAP. This chart does look a little bit better, so we actually have to, really 456.20. Once the data comes out, data drops. If we open the opening print this morning is above 456.20, we're gonna have to sit back and reassess. Do we really want to try to short this early on this morning? But there's given the hanging man situation on SPY. You got to be very careful that this thing could reverse on us really quick this morning. So uh, definitely keep that on watch in today's trading, in my opinion. And be very mindful today. 460 is our real line in the sand here for the Qs. 460. So you got 17,000 here. You got 8,000 here. You got 22,000 puts down here. Okay, 8,000 right here. So 460 is our main thing we have to be watching today in Qs. And yesterday's high was 459.17. So we're almost into the Q's expected move for the week, that 460 area. That's so be very mindful of that. Uh, we're right into that scenario. Um, so heads up on that. We're right there. You know where what as far as the market was expecting to get for the week. And uh, another thing, we had a 3 sigma move down last week. That means 3 times the expected move came down last week in 4 trading days. Uh, and we haven't expanded uh, expected move this week. So implied volatilities are jacked up this week. And that's why, even though we're getting bigger moves, they've already priced in bigger moves for this week. So be mindful of that. Options are more expensive this week. Other things I was looking at yesterday and today, if I go back to the 1 hour, um, I saw this yesterday morning, or 2 hour even. I saw this yesterday morning happening. So yesterday morning at what time was that? Yeah, I was doing the video around 5 a.m. We were breaking this anchored VWAP for our current week. We were breaking it early on yesterday morning, breaking below that, and that was giving us a clue that yesterday could be bullish. So we are on the bearish side uh, of trend for the VIX futures. So be very mindful of that. Well, I don't know how long it will stay that way, but momentum tendency is to the bulls, and there are still quite a few puts, shorts in the market. So um, just be very mindful of the situation. This could reverse in a heartbeat after CPI comes out, but the primary momentum force right here, uh, let's just be mindful of this. Uh, right now, the momentum is on the side for the bears on volatility. Another thing that I want to point out here, so we're right here at this parity level, and early on this morning, the short end of the curve is catching a bigger bid than the long end of the curve. So basically, if you're taking a 2 year versus the 5 year, if the numerator is catching the yields are correction. I'm talking about ZNs. Okay, option correction. Yields are coming down faster on the 2N than they are on the 10 year. There you go. So in that situation, this chart will be going down. Okay, that would be putting us back into out of inversion, back into a normalized yield curve. So basically, what's happening this morning, we're getting more normalized because we're going into this data. The bonds are telling us that they're concerned about the CPI and the PPI coming out the next couple of days. So we're getting an initial signal that the bonds are telling us that they're concerned over the CPI number coming out today. A trade setup that I'm looking at this morning. You see this double bottom right here? 1 second here. Let me get my pen out. Okay, guys, here's my epic pen. See that double bottom situation? Here's what I look at. The do, do, do. Okay, so that's what I try to look at here. I'll put that thinner next time. So basically, you know, at a top, you're looking for an M. So at the top, you're looking for an double top and then the M breaking down as a common uh, uh, pattern you're looking for in the markets. At the bottom, you're looking for a W potential for a breakout. We're potentially getting that W this morning. So I'm really stocking this IWM possibly, um, you know, uh, possibly coming back into the anchored VWAP today, the 210 area. So this is something definitely I got on watch this morning here for the IWM this morning. So heads up on that. So now that all the markets come down, IWM will probably come with it. We are into the put wall this morning. Double check it real quick. Oops. So just be mindful on the weeklies here. 207 is a big put wall here. Okay, that's a big major put wall here on IWN this morning. So we start losing 207, we could actually get a negative gamma squeeze to the downside if that were to happen. But the past few days the put walls have been holding. That may change today. And they've been buying the call walls. They're going into positive gamma. Okay, the past couple of days. Uh, what bothers me, we may have completed wave 4, like I was saying earlier. Let me get my volume up, and this is even acted even worse than the Qs. You see how the volume, we had volume come in yesterday. That's the first time we had some volume coming in. We're pushing right into the potential end of wave 4. Um, so losing 207, that would be bad. Okay, that would definitely be bad if we were to lose 207 on IWM. But if they are trying to hold the markets, this is one that I would be looking at. For that double bottom possibility. If we were to break out back to the north side here, let's see, where's the 30-minute here? That double bottom situation, you really want to wait till you get above 208.50 area uh, to get an all clear. If the data comes in bullish, if we could start getting above 208.50, this might be a long setup here with that double bottom situation. Some things I'm looking at here, you see this cluster of puts, open interest puts, 217.50, 215, 212. I like the situation for put walls. When you have 3 strikes, all with um, decent sized volume, that's a thick wall, yeah, of put support that you have supporting it. So we have an initial bounce already here at 4 a.m. On the Apple this morning over the 217 area, uh, acting as support. Another one I want to look at here, that's Microsoft. Above the 412.50, that actually puts us in a positive gamma situation for the week. Here we are at 414.52. So this is quite a bullish chart. Could start seeing more continuation here on that for a move back to 420. 420 is in the cards here for Microsoft. So that's bullish. I mentioned yesterday in the chat room about how we closed Monday in a positive gamma situation on AMD. We came back down, tested that positive gamma yesterday morning, and just rocket shipped right off of that. Great trade. Anybody who took my advice on AMD, the trade has actually played out now. You would really want to be taking some profits here, probably, because we've already had the squeeze. A lot of times you'll see could see a massive reversal. Like last week, Tesla had a situation like this. It did the positive gamma, and just got obliterated the next day. Uh, I think that was Friday, obliterated Friday after the positive gamma. So this is where you'd want to actually ring the register, take a lot of the profits on your AMD. Another one I talked about yesterday was the Amazon crossing above the anchored VWAP. So we closed Monday above the anchor VWAP. We opened right at it, didn't get much below it, and it just took off to the moon from there. We didn't really have the gamma situation. This here, in my opinion, is a more supported structure If we come into today, we could be trying to push out above the call wall. I'd much rather stay long on Amazon versus AMD. Both of them are a little precarious, possibly, but in my opinion, that's a better structure to keep a swing position long. Tesla's still a very bullish chart. You are above your 220 call wall, with 225 being your next strike. So you're right here between the 225, 220 area. So you got two big strikes around the 225 and the 220 area on the call side. So basically, in my opinion, if you were to get prices above the yesterday's close, then you actually go to the long side. But like I said, there are two open strikes right there. Might not see a lot of upside from here. Just be mindful of that. There's a lot of congestion right here near this anchored VWAP. Last one I'm going to actually talk about, that's Google. This is the most bearish of the megatechs. I was talking about how the negative gamma situation that is currently facing Google, we're back into that negative gamma early this morning. If the markets If this is the end of the wave forward, this is the first one I'm looking at for a continuation breakdown to the low downside. Things are not looking good for Google. This is not one that I would encourage anybody to even try to the upside. So be very mindful of that. If the markets were to break down and if the Qs were to come back down to the 200-day moving average, I think Google probably would be one of the leaders to the downside. So, you get bears out there. That's what this would be my number one look at in today's session is a potential um, break of support. Remember we pushed up on low volume, giving us the divergence, for a possible wave four, and maybe now we come back down for a wave five completion of the pattern, and Google would be the primary one we'd be looking at. Okay, thanks for listening to my video, and I will see you guys in the trading rooms.